look a little deeper, and you will see that I'm just like you, and you're just like me, yeah. You're kidding, right?
Welcome to Season 5. The episode begins, curiously enough, with a reference to Rainbow Rocks. When the film briefly shifted to Twilight's castle, we saw Rarity sitting in her chair with the cutie mark above it glowing. Meanwhile, Pinkie was sitting in Applejack's chair with no effect. Well, apparently the chairs are coded to know whose ass is sitting in them, and when the main six are all gathered together, it activates a map of Equestria that shows them where their help is needed. Holy crap, that's actually really cool, and could potentially set up all sorts of adventures. Their first signal sends them to a small town on the outskirts of Equestria where everyone supports equal rights for LGBT ponies? No, it turns out they've actually had their cutie marks removed and replaced with these new marks that inhibit their abilities so that everyone performs equally, adhering to a philosophy that being different brings conflict and misery, while being the same brings everyone closer together. And you know, that's something people in real life have to struggle with every day, especially here in the United States where I live. We're constantly encouraged to be different and stand out, be independent, but at the same time, we're social creatures with an inherent desire to fit in, and that can be difficult when the thing that makes you unique and different also makes you an outcast. Oh, who am I kidding? This is just a creepy cult episode, isn't it? Come on, guys, Rescue Rangers did an episode like this back when I was a kid. So anyway, the town founder named Starlight Glimmer takes their cutie marks by force and then tries to brainwash them, but they find out she still has her cutie mark. She just covers it up, and when it's revealed to the rest of the town, it starts a revolution. This leads to an interesting sequence where the main six have to rely on the other ponies to help get their cutie marks back for them. In the end, Starlight gets away, but it's hinted that she might return, and we're introduced to an all-new cast of characters that I really want to see again, especially since two of them are played by Sunset Shimmer. They even have their own Pinkie Pie, and this guy's fucking amazing. He grows balloons out of his dick! So yeah, overall, this is a pretty damn solid episode. All the characters have something to do, everything's explained in a way that makes sense, and the dialogue feels natural, for the most part.
Why did you want us to come down here? So no pony could see what's about to happen.
Wait, why did she say it like that? Still, it's a huge improvement over the Season 4 opener where the main characters were talking like babies half the time. Hey, something tells me you should keep this M.A. Larson guy around. Seems like he knows what he's doing. I also love how we get hints of backstory for the new characters like Double Diamond, and it's really interesting how many of the town's ponies, even when they're unhappy, are still willing to follow Starlight until she turns out to be a hypocrite about her own philosophy. Yeah, you can't be special or better than anyone, but I can. No one can tell anyone else who stays or leaves unless it benefits me. Of course I have your best interest in mind. Now shut up and do what I tell you! The one thing that keeps this from being more compelling is that we're never really given a chance to understand the town's philosophy. As soon as they explain it, it's immediately followed by, give up your talent, uniqueness is bad. So there's very little build up towards finding out that something's wrong here. I mean, these ponies were all drawn here for a reason, right? Fluttershy sees what it is, but I don't think the audience ever does. Also, this is the cutest Fluttershy moment ever. But if we could just find out what made this place so appealing to begin with, it would also help explain why Starlight is so dangerous. Personally, I see it as a place where ponies go when they're emotionally broken and feel like they don't belong anywhere else, which is why it's so easy for Starlight to take advantage of them. But that's just speculation, the show never actually says. Surprisingly, I've heard some people say Starlight's the weakest villain the show has ever had. Really? I mean, granted, she's more ordinary than Discord or Nightmare Moon, but I think that's kind of the point. People like this do exist in real life. Regular, boring assholes who get stupid amounts of influence by tricking people into following them. In fact, by the time you find out what Starlight can really do, she becomes... I'm still trying to think of a nicer word for pants-shittingly terrifying. If the town's equality message had been explained just a little bit better, this would be a top-tier episode, albeit a bit less epic than previous season openers. As it is, though, it's very promising and a welcome return for M.A. Larson. The Cutie Map gets an 8 out of 10.
Me and you and me. Why don't we see who is better? We don't have to be one in the same thing. Oh, what's so wrong with a little competition? Are you afraid of failing the audition?